So what do trains do? And well, if you come to the south here, I guess you guys can watch my stream to see where I'm at and like where I point things out with my cursor because you can't see that in game. I guess I could do the ping like this, but it's easier if I'm just using binoculars to point things out. Okay, so this war we've got 3 trains. Well, I guess maybe 4. I think this one's just parked here for uh, if we sell one. But this war we've got 3 trains. This we've got the export train that's got 12 flat cars, 1 engine on each side, and we've got the shorter train for like quick facility runs or stuff like that. It's only 7 cars long. Um, the engines do engine stuff. They hold 300 coal. 300 coal is enough to go about 2 hexes distance. So 300 coal you can get from the oil facility down to Ashtown about perfectly. I've done that run quite a few times this war. It is so that is a visual gauge for about how far you can run off of 300 coal. We as FMAT do not have a coal car. We do not carry a coal cart because each of these flat cars has 1 inventory slot that you can hide 100 coal in. That is very important to check before your train run because, well, you don't want to run out of coal because it takes all 300 on a one-way trip down, but you'll also use the other engine at the other end to go back. So if that is also full, then you won't ever have to use the reserve out of these flat cars, and you'll be good. So also to uncouple the cars, you use a wrench and you just crouch as if to unlock it. A lot of times when you're trying to unlock a train, you'll accidentally uncouple or vice versa. It's annoying. And then once it's uncoupled, to recouple, you can just press E and it will recouple them. See, so that now it is connected again. When the cars are connected, you can pull the cars, but if they are disconnected, you cannot push them. So I'll disconnect real quick. And I'll try and back up, and it won't let me because foxhole physics.
Of course.
You'd think you would be able to push it, but no, you can't. It is an inanimate object. So, for train runs, your loadout should be somewhat like this. Maybe if you're really unsafe, you'll bring a SMG and maybe an anti-tank grenade or something. But this is your like general loadout for what you want. You want the radio, so that way you can check the map. The map is very important because it will show you where trains are on the map. You see a line of triangles on one of the rails, it's going to be a train. So you can use this to navigate train traffic in Foxhole.
It would be nice to have their own little icon, though, I will say.
Yeah, it would be nice if they had individual icon, but it's a line of triangles on a rail. It's not too terrible to figure out. Also, when planning your train trips, you need to pay close attention to the rails and map out the entire trip before you do it, if it's your first time going on a route. For example, I was looking to do a run to Ashtown later in this training. I was looking at, oh, how are we going to get there? I was intuitively thinking, oh, we'll just like take one of these rails over quick and come like this. But if you look closely, this rail here only merges and goes north. And this one here also bypasses all these connections and just hugs the border up here. It's a bypass high-speed rail to all the way to the other side, which I guess works, but then you'd have to kind of backtrack to get back to over here. So in order to get down to Ashtown, where I was looking to go, you would have to take this rail to actually get there relatively quickly. So that's step one to running a train. Step two is have a friend. Almost always have a friend. The only times you don't want a friend with you is if you're doing a straight facility to facility type train run where you are not parking on any public rails and you are out of the way. And then in those situations, it doesn't really matter how long it takes to load and unload, but you will want at least two people for loading and unloading of trains because it will take forever otherwise. Because you'll have to keep moving the train forward and backwards in order to reach the cranes, and then you will be physically running to the crane, back to the engine, and to the crane over and over, and it is not efficient. So that's also one of the purposes of the shorter train, is it reduces that somewhat for like facility runs that people would do solo. What else? Got a few notes. Trains are somewhat expensive, but if you're doing a full run of regular shipping containers with normal Logi stuff out of our stockpiles, the stuff on the train is about as expensive as the train itself. The train might even be slightly cheaper. So don't be like super upset if you lose a train. Like they're replaceable. It's better to run the train many times and then lose it than to not run the train at all. There are acceptable risks involved. But for example, one time this war, we lost a train in this intel gap right here. Colonials had a Spatha camping the rails, and they blew up the train. But is it still worth it to run trains? Yes, because we've done I don't know how many train trips, and the efficiency outweighs the lost time and goods of losing a train to a one-off attack. Um, what else? Okay, when you're running down the tracks, one good thing to have is somebody scouting the rails in front of you in a LUV. Uh, they can switch the switches for you to make sure you go on the right path. It's also an extra set of eyes that can watch the map while the train holds W to check for other trains moving around. There aren't really any sort of dual rail setups where like the right where you drive on the right side of the road per se. Everybody shares the same rails pretty much, so you just have to find a turn off when you run into a train. Um, so, like for example, if I ran into somebody going around Westgate Keep, one person could either back up into this Kingstone siding to get out of the way to let the other pass, or the other side could pull down here, sit on this rail for a bit, or enter the refinery loop. It's just you just got to work with it. It's a part of running trains. You're not going to have perfect communication and stuff. One good thing to do also when you are running trains is to announce like where your train's going in Logi chat when you start the run, and and then when you start the return trip, and also when you enter regions, you want to like announce your intentions with region chat as well. Say, for example, train from FMAT oil to seaport. So like we would do that if we were heading to load up right now at the seaport in Longstone, because this is the only seaport in region. They know what seaport we're talking about. Don't need to be super specific. And then people know what's going on, and other trains or other people that are thinking about running trains at the time will say, okay, we'll just wait 10 minutes or whatever. I'll find something else to do. In the meantime, it's just nice to have a little bit of communication going on to make people's lives easier. Do we have any questions so far? Just
Nope. Don't think so, no.
okay. So when you are in the train engine, it will show you how the rails are set up, the switches in front of you. So if I hop in right here, you can see this white line in front of me. And you see that line across, that means the switch is not flipped for me going in this direction. So if Sugarcane, you want to flip that switch real quick, then you can move forward through the switch. People that are not inside the train cannot see this. So this takes communication to people to
I saw it when I was like outside of train once. I don't know if it was a visual bug or
Oh, it,
something.
it does it for a little bit after you hop out. It's like 15 seconds or so. So
Oh,
like
even
right
for
now
the
you can
boost and
still see
everything.
it. Yep.
Oh, okay, that explains it.
Yep. So these flatbeds are, I feel like this is self-explanatory, but you put any shippables on them. It can carry battle tanks, all types of containers, pallets, even like small cars. You can package an LUV and put one on it if you want to, even though that's kind of redundant because the LUV goes kind of faster than a train. But I mean, if you wanted to, you could do that. But I guess the train carries 12, so that makes a difference. Um, so there's that. One trick for loading and unloading in the facility is the crane interaction trick. Um, this is where you load and unload things by directly pairing the container you're carrying stuff in with the building to submit directly into it instead of doing an intermediary step of, for example, dropping materials into a material transfer station and then moving it in. So I will demonstrate this quick. Is there any containers that have something in them, like a little bit of salvage? Resource container. Okay, none of those have anything. I guess I can print a pallet quick and I can show you.
Put some cold one.
Okay. So you can, I'm also going to quickly show loading using this method. So I drop the pallet on any gear, any pad that has the gear icon to interact. It will pull up whatever you dropped it on first. However, if you are next to a building, you can interact with that building instead, as long as the crane you are in can interact with it. So for example, right here, I can press E to close out of that menu, but if you don't move the crane arm, you can then press E, or Shift E in this case, and you can pull up all the things the crane can interact with. For example, if I was going to load up the pallet with process construction materials, you can pull this up and it will show the pallet in the bottom left. So then you can retrieve directly into the pallet through the Metalworks interface. So there, I just put 15 PC mats on the pallet, which is really nice. And if I was going to load it, you can then select a different thing. For this facility, we have material transfer stations set up right next to the crane, so you can interact with them. This pulls up a different interface, which allows you to package it. Because it's a transfer station, it has a package button on it for actions. Then you can package it all from in the crane, and you can load it onto a train. Imagine the train was right under here. Oop, done.
Tell me to go get the train.
It's not really needed right now.
Nope.
I'm just demonstrating how you would. I guess you can for demonstration purposes, but I feel like that's okay. Blast furnace. So, and do the same thing. You can interact again, and you can submit directly from the pallet into the inventory. And And that is, you can do this with all types of materials. So like salvage, liquids like oils, uh, components, sulfur, all that type of stuff you can. But you can't, for example, submit crates from a shipping container. Shipping containers can only be unloaded at seaports and depots. So just have to keep that in mind when you're doing that. This facility also has a cheeky little loading spot over here. So we can put pallets here, drive the small gauge up to it. Let me actually demonstrate that real quick. Oh no, I moved the crane arm. Oh, it was still linked even after I moved the crane arm. Maybe it's something specific with the... I didn't actually know that worked. I moved the crane arm and it still let me interact with it. But sometimes you break the interaction by moving the crane arm or the vehicle. And then you'll have to manually package it again to get the interaction to work again. So I am going to show a different way to also assemble PC mats onto a pallet. So let me just grab 3 for demonstration. Where's the track switch? I have to climb up that to interact with the track switch. Okay. So imagine I loaded up 400 PC mats here. And now I can bring them over to our little pallet interaction setup. And also you can assemble from those directly in. You can drive up here, and then you can press E, and then you can interact with the pallet directly and submit. And that loads the pallet. Why this is useful is because using the small gauge to assemble materials from buildings is way faster than sitting in a crane to assemble the materials. So this allows you to easily move the materials from the train onto the pallet. Another way to do it is the more traditional way of having the pallet sit beside the car, hopping on this seat, and pressing E. I don't have any items to submit, so of course it failed. That's another way to submit. But you also have to be careful what buildings are nearby when you do stuff like that, because it will just submit to like the closest building. So that's why we do this, so it's much more consistent, and you don't have to get off the small train to load the pallet. You can sit here and do that. So that's how you load a pallet, unload it on the train. What else?
When to actually use the train?
Yes, you use the train for long distance shipments and bulk shipments. For example, using a train, typically freighters are more efficient if you're going from a seaport to another seaport, because you can take a freighter one direction, you don't have to bring it back because they're cheap, they're only 500 BMATs. The 500 BMATs are not worth the travel time bringing it back. However, this war, we can't really do that here. There's a lot of pirates off of our coast here at Wyattwick. So we can't really use freighters from Longstone very easily. And this is where trains kick in. They're typically much safer than freighters. So you can do that. And also, the main time-consuming part of the train is honestly loading and unloading, and not the travel time itself. So the longer distance the train run is, the more efficient it is. So you want to be using the trains for bulk, long-distance trips. So, from Longstone to Light's End, like, yeah, you can use a train, but it's better if you can get farther, because the loading and unloading is the biggest part, so you only want to do that once. You want to bring supplies as far forward as you can without overstocking the stockpiles. And speaking of stockpiles, this is where I am going to quickly talk about the FMAT spreadsheet and LogiHub website that we've got going with FMAT. How familiar are we with this, with the spreadsheet? Just as a general question.
The actual spreadsheet fairly well. I'm still getting used to Logic Hub.
Okay, so you probably have more knowledge of LogiHub because I only launched that for the first time literally like an hour ago.
Oh,
So, uh, with the so the great part about the spreadsheet is it does all of the math and figuring for you. All you have to do is upload screenshots of the stockpiles into it. So, for example, here let's update Longstone 1 because we can. I'll just do a quick demonstration. You can do it two different ways. You can do it through the spreadsheet and through the LogiHub website, which I don't think trainees yet have access to that, but we're going to be rolling it out soon. So you take a quick screenshot. You want to leave a little bit of room on the edge. Copy, and then we can. Let me bring up the website real quick. Here's LogiHub. I'm already logged in. You'll have to give Discord access the first time. You go to FIR, which is Foxhole Inventory Report, and then you can, hopefully I can paste. I've never actually done this here. Okay, yeah. Control V to paste onto this, and it will load, hopefully, maybe.
they're back by right now how to use Logic Hub, so.
But yeah, this will also tell you the, using the Logigen tab, it will tell you the specific containers you should bring down when doing logistics. Also, I don't know why this is... Oh, I just right-clicked something. Let me close out of that quick before I break something. Just refresh. Well, I'll just do it the old-fashioned way and save my little clip here. Let's just save it as Logi. Oh, okay. It just took a while. Okay, we're good. Submitting. There we go. And that should have updated this. So I'm going to rerun. I already did the generation, the container generation thing here. So I'll delete out of that, and then supplier, where are you taking from? In this case, we'll be taking from Longstone. The destination is Ashtown, and the train carries 12 shippables. And here you can decide whether you want to bring BMATs and EMATs and vehicle crates. We'll leave that on for now, and we will generate a shipment. And it will give us a list of containers. In this case, it only has 11 shipments available. So we can't actually run a full train, but we can probably find something else to.
I actually
I'll
have
just I'll
I
rerun
actually
it and
have
you'll see
something
that.
else.
Yep. Oh,
I have some fat crates in MPF that you could bring down.
yes. Well, there's a construction yard at Ashtown.
No, the fat, not
Oh,
eat.
fat. Yep.
I will
Yeah.
bully you for getting that wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a big difference. I'm sorry. So yeah, 13 shippables because that added in. Okay, that's maintenance supplies. 15. Oh, that reminds me. We should not be bringing down maintenance supplies. Apparently, this has not been updated since I put some maintenance supplies in the depot. So I forgot to update the Ashtown. This is very important. You need to update both stockpiles before you do the generation. Put that here. Over that. Copy. Oh, gotta go to LGFIR. Okay. Okay, I'll just do it the old school method again. File. Because yeah, the website's new. There might be a few bugs, but I think everybody's been using it pretty well. This is my first time using it, honestly, on the fly, so. G2, just save, choose file, G2. Okay, actually, Sammy, do you know why it's not going?
What do you mean not going?
I'm trying to upload the file.
I don't know. I've yet to like do the
Huh.
FIR part of it. I've just like done
Okay,
the block.
so backup method. We got the good old spreadsheet. Okay, you can go to extensions, and then it will, or actually, no, screenshots here. Yeah, I already did one, so I'll just start from the beginning. Let's go to dashboard. And then, okay, what do you do to upload screenshots? You go to screenshots here at the top. It will probably, because it's a script, the first time you do it, Google and stuff will get mad at you. You'll have to confirm, confirm, confirm. Yes, okay, confirm, confirm to make it to work. Over here, you can upload files straight from your computer. Like, for example, I got Log2. That's the name of the one I want to upload. And you can click this once. So that it only runs the script once. If you click it more than once, it'll break it. So append to spreadsheet, click that. And that should have updated the Ashtown stockpiles. So now we can go to Ashtown request. And here is a big old list of all the stuff we need to deliver. Got priority, low priority, and do not deliver. So this is the other way to do it, which it should push those new stockpiles to the website. So let's try this again. See if we supplier Longstone, Ashtown, 12. So yep, still only 11, but it shouldn't have M subs. It still has M subs. Oh yeah, I think it's the website pushes to the spreadsheet, but the spreadsheet does not update back. Or maybe I just need to I'll refresh quick.
Witchcraft. I don't
Witchcraft,
know if it
yes.
actually works with logic.
Okay. So let's just double check. Longstone, Ashtown, 12. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, to use this tool, you do need to update it through the website. You need to do the FIR here. Why is it not updating? Never had that problem with the... But yeah, in any case, you can also use this. Although I like the idea of using these because it lays out each container. So that way, if you're working in tandem with people, you can, say, hey, I'll load containers 1, 2, 6. I'll make them red or whatever, or green or blue. Set them a different color. So that way you can sort of keep track of what containers we've got loaded already. and stuff. Because when you go to a seaport, you do not want to load up right at the seaport all at once. You want to, before you bring the train in, before you're blocking anything, you want to get most of your containers staged and ready. You want to line them up at the edges of the seaport. I'll just redeploy over there to sort of show what I mean by that. Why we do that is so we don't block the public seaport high activity area for very long. So that way if it's all staged, you can in theory bring the train through here and the train never fully stops. And you can just drop everything on real quick, be in and out real quick. So do not like block major roads or like the seaport for any longer than you have to. So you want to set up the containers right beside the seaport. Just redeploy over there quick. A few other quick tips for running trains is if you're in the driver's seat of the train and you switch to the passenger seat, that instantly stops the train, which is very useful if you get caught off guard by a switch that isn't turned correctly. That will save you a ton of time because you will run through the switch by like 20 to 30 meters before you fully stop, and then you'll have to reverse again. It's way faster if you catch it. You can just switch seats to stop the train ahead of the switch. You can get out, flip the switch, and go. So for example, for staging containers here, we could, if this Jeep wasn't parked here, we could line up containers like here, like where the Jeep is. You could stack them like 2 containers tall here, so that would be 6. And on the other side, I'll about get run over here, but that's normal. This is foxhole. You can do the same thing over here. So that would be the 12 containers set out. Out of the way. Try not to block this, because this is a nice spot for trucks to come in, and obviously don't put any shipping containers right in front of the pads. That's a high traffic area. We want to be as out of the way as possible. And also putting the containers right here means the crane, instead of spinning all the way from the pad, taking a like full 180 to load the train, it is just doing this quick 30-degree arm angle turn, and it will load the train very quickly. Sadly, you can't really do anything about that with unloading, but generally places you're unloading are way less busy than places you're loading, because where you're loading will be in the main manufacturing hubs, so people are running to the factories and refinery back and forth 24/7, whereas on the front line they are simply going to the front line and back. There's much less traffic, so that's not as important. I guess I will demonstrate the MSUP train real quick, the infantry car train with its special fun capabilities of essentially being 6 trucks on a rail. You can interact with buildings close to it with the first 3 cars behind the engine directly. So interacting with it as if it was a small gauge rail, small gauge train. I will show that real quick. The MSUP train is parked just to the northwest here, behind all this stuff, kind of hidden away out of the way. Here it is. We've got the infantry car train here. These infantry cars have 14 slots that can hold anything, just like a truck does. These up here are designated for tripods and stuff, because it's kind of a meme combat car. It's a meme. It's not good. Anyways, so when you get in... Oh no, it's
And
locked.
what if we just need to bring infantry to the front lines, though?
That's what respawning from home region is best for.
No, but we gotta bring all the infantry from the back lines to the
This
front.
is this is for
Just a
Clearly.
truck.
that's what buses are for, okay?
Yeah, buses or trucks.
Buses. Yes. Okay. So,
But it's cool.
this train, you can hop in, and you can interact with things directly. For example, the sulfuric reactor. We could grab sulfur directly from the sulfuric reactor, and it goes into the car without getting out. You can do that with the first 3. But for example, we've got a coal car in the middle. It won't let you do that to anything past the first 3. In the past, we've somehow gotten it to interact with 4, but that's not normal. So this is how the M-sub train works. This train is designed to be run by a single person because there is no loading or unloading like manually in theory, because it's got an engine on both sides, so you can directly interact with all the structures that it's designed for. And if you use, like, for example, private M-subs or CMATs, which are very good to be transported in this, by the way, uh, you never get out of the engine because you can directly drive up to a materials factory, interact with it, grab everything, submit everything you need. Like, no pallets, no packaging, no containers. Simple. For example, earlier this war, I was running construction materials from our infinite scrap glitch, aka ammo facility, aka CNUT facility, down here by Ashtown. I used this rail right here, and I was loading out of these material factories directly into the train. You'd have to turn around to get the other side. It's not like the perfect setup, but yeah, that is the theory. And I was taking the train all the way up
So
again.
this is the new Rail 4. I was surprised. I'm standing right now on the top of the radio.
Oh.
Sorry for the interruption.
Oh, in-game chat, got it. Okay. So that is what that train is used for. Oh yeah, proper FMAT etiquette. We have these silos here on the rails. This is to make sure people don't steal our trains, or if they do, they have to crane hop it over the silo, which is more than a new player wanting to go on a joyride is willing to do. So we keep these silos on the rails. We keep them squad locked, so that way anybody in the squad can demolish it. So so while you're out and about, you can leave it down, but when you park it back, you rebuild it with CV. We've got a CV parked right here by the rail, and then make sure you squad lock it back to this war. It's locked to our facility squad, FAC MBG, which is the name of our coalition, Mercy's battle group. So to build it, you simply build it like this. It's 15 CMATs, you build it really fast. And ta-da! Which is, see, it's back, but always remember to squad lock it to, oh, I did it to the wrong squad. I set it to my my building squad. There we go, FAC MBG. So, if you are not in the facility squad, you can ask in regiment chat for an invite, but you can also ask in regiment chat for anybody who is in the squad as well to demo the silo for you. Another thing is check out the train using the train checkout in Discord. Train checkout. So pull my Discord over here real quick. See all my random Discords. Okay, so train checkout channel. Here we go. So here you can see people are just typing in what train they took, whether they're taking it out, and also when they put it back. So you want to do this every time you do it, just so that way, oh, there's a train missing. What happened? We can know who had it last, and you know, it saves a lot of worry for the people who keep track of the trains. And it's also just good communication. This is a resource container that we usually keep. Okay, it does have some coal in it. So as you drive out, you can quick interact with it from the engine, grab a little top off on coal as well for in and out. So okay. Are we interested in doing a train run? I think we can get that started. I think I've got pretty much everything. All the important
I
stuff
gotta
set
go. I
down.
can't stay
Okay.
for the train op.
Yeah, that's understandable. I think I covered everything I need to do.
Okay.
That's the main stuff.
All right, we'll see ya.
Yep. Thanks for
Thank you
joining.
for this.
Oh, one quick tip is how we actually get these silos to be built on top of the rail. You have to specifically build the rails so that way you can place stuff on them. So this is your normal rail. I haven't adjusted the height at all, but if you hold right click and then use the scroll wheel, you can adjust the angle. And if you just use regular scroll wheel, it adjusts the height. So in order to build a silo, you have to sink the rail under the ground a little bit, like this. So that way this texture is not on top of the ground, it is under the ground. And then it will let you build the silo on top of it. If we go to build a silo just on the rail, a normal rail, it won't let you. But it will if the rail is sunk under the ground a little bit. Well, that's the one spot it goes, but yeah, for example there. So that is why you can build a silo on top of the rails. Okay. Who all do we have here for running a train?
I cannot run a train, but I was just listening to the last little bit.
Okay. I would prefer 3 people if we were gonna run a train. At least for loading and unloading.
You know, if you prep it, I just can't run it for however long that takes.
Yeah, it's like it'll be like an hour, hour and a half is what a train run typically takes. So, if we're going like 2 hexes like this.
Yeah, I might have to call it
yeah.
for another time then.
So yeah, also if you want to, join train runs and stuff, a lot of times you can just keep an eye on the train checkout channel, and then if somebody's taken a train out and not put it back in, you could say, just type in regiment chat, hey, anybody need help with the train? And you can probably help out loading and unloading and stuff like that pretty easily. Because that's the main problem with the trains, is the loading and unloading, and well, kind of navigating the switches, but you can generally do that as the driver. So yeah, that's the main training stuff, I guess.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright, well, thank you very much. Have a good rest of your evening.
You too.
Goodbye.
And Vitatus, do you have any quick questions? I
No,
think I'm
not really.
running out of
particularly.
ideas on what to yap about. We don't really need a ton of stuff at Ashtown right now. Like, sure, we could load up a full train, but We still have a decent stockpile out here. And also we're kind of limited. Like Lights End, technically you can bring a train in, but it's pretty cramped. And you can barely reach the rail with the seaport crane. So that's annoying, but... Okay, I'll just call that there then, I guess. You guys can hop in trains some other time, and kind of sucks we aren't doing a live training, but I feel like I prepped you guys pretty well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.